Welcome back to Lord TV, L3RD TV. It's playoff time, and we got some playoff discussion. I know it's been a very sought after topic, long awaited, that you guys have been waiting for me to speak on it. And I have been. I've been couple guest appearances on the old Ignorant Takes podcast. I'll tag them on the video here, so you guys can go check their podcast out. Check a couple of their videos on that I was on. Excuse me. I was on last week. I was on their playoff prediction podcast episode, and Saturday I was on their first games, the first games of round one, the first 4 games of round one, and also like I had mentioned, going to be doing some kind of game reactions for the Los Angeles Lukas versus the Timberwolves. As you know, I'm a Luka fan, so supporting the boy, the old Real Madrid legend. You know how that go, all of Madrid and all that. So I'm here to give you guys my predictions here on my own channel. Also discuss these first 10 games now. 4 from Saturday, 4 from Sunday, and the 2 games that happened today. The second game of Clippers Nuggets and second game of Detroit versus the Knicks. So first things first, I'll touch on the first games, and that'll kind of tie me into these games today, but I'm gonna actually kind of do it backwards. So I'm going to start with the games on Sunday. So, of course, that first game, was it the first game? I think that was the first game. The Thunder versus OKC. Yeah, I think that was the first game. The Thunder versus OKC. It's the same damn team. Thunder versus the Grizzlies. Spend about 2 seconds on this because that was an absolute shmalakin. Got 51 piece that came from the same guy that was talking about we good in the West. You guys have not been good in the West ever since he said that. It's not looking too good for that quote, Ja. That quote is aging horribly. Horribly, that quote is aging. And he came out saying they're not going to be that bad again. So we'll see. Because that was an absolute blip of a game. 51 set the record for the largest defeat in playoff history. So I think we can all say that one. Originally, I was giving that a 5 game series. Yeah, that's looking like a little sweeper. But you never know. Maybe the Grizzlies get one at home. But I still think it's not going more than 5. But if we're going based off that first game, yeah, they're going to get them up out of here quick. So we're looking potentially at a 4-gamer there. And then the second game of Sunday, Magic versus Celtics, was a good kind of close game in the first half. It was 1 point lead for the Celtics going into the second half, but it's Magic. They just struggle offensively, and they're not getting enough stops to be struggling offensively. You know, they match up nicely as far as size wise, athleticism against the Celtics, but they just can't put the ball in the basket enough. excuse me, they can't put the ball in the basket enough. Like 86 points. You held them to 103, which is solid. Like you held them to 103. It's below their average, but you only put up 86 points. It's not gonna cut it. P5's gonna do his thing, clearly, and you got it. You know, JT and JB didn't really have a good game. Of course, Derek White goes out and drops a 30 piece. Drew Holiday solid as usual, steady hand, but the two superstars didn't necessarily have a good game. You got to steal that game. Like, that's the game you got to steal. But then again, that's what makes the Celtics so dangerous, is when two of their two best players don't necessarily play well, you still have 3-4 other players that can just go for 30, 20, you know. So, you know, that's going to be a tough series. I had mentioned on that particular matchup on the Ignorant Takes podcast that for the Celtics are definitely the favorite to win the whole thing. So what needs to happen is just you got to steal 2 games. Like, you got to somehow get 2 games. Just make it a 6-game series. So when they go to the next round, the next team, what is that, Indiana? Or no, that's going to be Detroit or the Knicks. Same thing. You got to try to steal 2 games. Like, you just got to try to get 2 games out of that series just to kind of get them leg heavy, really make them work for the games. And then, you know, and then if everything goes how it's supposed to go, the Cleveland Cavaliers are probably going to sweep the Heat. Then against that 4-5 matchup, you know, Pacers or Bucks, Cavaliers will probably have a 5-game series with them, with either team that comes out of that. So, you know, they're looking at playing 1, maybe 2 extra games. Cleveland. So, you know, they'll have more rest. They'll have more energy, a little bit healthier. So if the Magic can somehow pull out 2 games, and Knicks or Detroit, whoever comes out of that series, can, which I think that, you know, I'll touch on that, but I think it's going to be Detroit who comes out of that series. I had mentioned that on my original playoff predictions, that there's a good chance that they come out of that. I mentioned that on the Ignorant Takes podcast as well, that I think the Pistons have a really good chance of coming out of that series. I'll touch on the game today. They obviously stole a game today against the Knicks, which they even could have been up 2 games, but they kind of folded there. But I'll get into that. So Celtics are definitely going to come out of this series, but Magic just needs to attempt to win 2 games. And the next series, 2 games, and then, you know, let Cleveland try to see what they can do. And maybe they can knock them out in the Eastern Conference Finals. You never know. Then the Heat Cavaliers, easy enough. Cavaliers are just going to get them out of there. It's going to be a sweep. I don't really think there's too much to talk about there. They're going to get them out of there. And then the Rockets and Warriors. On the Ignorant Takes podcast, I had mentioned that I thought the Rockets would win that series. I guess I was hoping. I was trying to put some hope in it because they're such a talented, like, younger team. But just the playoff experience of the Warriors is too much. It's gonna be too much. It's gonna be too much. And they're probably gonna get them out of there in 5 or 6 games. Yeah. Only 85 points. I mean, you held the Warriors to 95. Steph gives you a 30 piece, and you hold them at a 95. Like, that's a good recipe, holding them to 95. But you only putting up 85 as the Rockets, like, ugh. It's not gonna cut it. It's tough. Yeah, that's tough. And then going back, we're gonna kind of do this out of order because obviously we want to talk about the games that happened today, and to do that in a nice cohesive manner, we're going to have to go out of order. So the first game of the day, first game of Saturday, the Pacers versus the Bucks. I had mentioned that I thought the Bucks would win this series, but the Pacers are really, really good at home, and especially with no Dame, it's going to be tough. Obviously, we've gotten the news since that he is cleared and ready to play. I don't think he's going to play in the second game. I think they're going to wait for the first game at home for the Bucks, because obviously with the blood clot and then him taking the blood thinning pills and stuff, I'm sure he hasn't really played 5-on-5. He's probably in shape, obviously, but he's not in basketball shape, so he hasn't really played 5-on-5, I'm sure. So they're probably gonna want him to run, get a little bit of run in practice, doing some 5-on-5 stuff before he gets out there. It was nice to see him and Tyrese at the end of that game going back and forth. Dame, pretty much telling him he's gonna bust his ass and that he's soft. So that lets you know that Dame. We all know that Dame's about that life when it comes to playoff time. He's big time player, crunch time player. So that's exciting to see that he's rearing. He's raring to go. He's raring to go. Dame time is raring to go. So raring. So that's nice. Because the Bucks need him. You got Kuzma out there. You could have put me on the court. I would have gave you at least 10 points. Like, for sure, I'm giving you 10. For sure. 21 minutes, I'm giving you 10 points. Like, for sure. 8, maybe. I think, but, like, you can put me into the lock for 10 points. I'm putting them up, too. From deep, too. There ain't even gonna be no defense. Like, they lock you up. Nah, I'm just pulling deep. Cha-ching. So, like, we could have just swapped spots. He could have been on the couch watching the game. I could have helped out. My 10 points would have still lost the game. Would have been 108 to 117. I gotta give him 10. Easy. I could have gave the Pacers 10. Like, yeah, I gotta give them 10 bulls. But easy 10 points. Boy gave you 0. I could have gave you 10. Come on, call me coach. Call me. And then Timberwolves Lakers. Obviously, y'all know I want the Los Angeles Lukas to win, and I still think they are going to win that series. I had mentioned on the Ignorant Takes podcast when I did the playoff prediction there for this series. I had predicted that the Lakers were going to lose the first game anyway. Luka has a tendency to lose that first game, but I also did mention that he was probably going to get 30-some, going for 35, which he got his 37. I think the Timberwolves burned their best shooting performance of the series. They had a playoff franchise record, I think it might have just all been together a complete franchise record. They're not shooting that well again. Like, for sure. They're not shooting that well again, hitting 21 threes. They potentially could shoot 50%, but that's probably going to be on like 15 made threes. They're not hitting 21 threes. So, but I don't even think they're going to put up 50% again. I think JJ's going to make some adjustments. There was a lot of overhelping, especially when Luka was on the ball, which he was actually doing a really good job on the ball. And people will say, he's going to get tired. That is, he didn't get tired. He put 37 on their head, and he was often not picked on and put in a situation where he had to defend, but this team is overcompensating and overhelping, which you could tell he was getting frustrated because he was making players, do 2-3 counters to try to get past him. 2, 3, 4 moves trying to get past him. He, a couple possessions, he locked up Ant, and may force him to pass the ball, and teammates are coming over and helping and getting open threes. And it's like you would much rather play a 2-point game versus the Timberwolves than a 3-point game, So considering they have a better shooting team, like that works in your benefit if they're only getting 2s instead of 3s. So, I think JJ's gonna make some adjustments. Also, a big thing with that was he had, Luka had 16 points in the first quarter, and you take him out in the second, like to start the second. Like, you can't use the same rotations that you used in the regular season. Like, you can't do that. So I think JJ will learn from that. Like, I get it, you're trying to give him a rest, but still let him rock for like 3-4 minutes and then take him out. Like, he's burning them, because as soon as you took him out, that's pretty much when the Lakers lost the game, is when you took Los Angeles Lukas out and turned him into the Lakers. Of course, the Lakers are going to lose. The Lukas was going 16 points in that first quarter. And then when you bring him in, he don't touch the ball for like the first 5 or 6 possessions when he comes back in the game. Don't even touch it. Like, that can't happen. The number one option can't go more than 3 possessions without touching the ball. Like, touching it, no. So I think they're going to make the adjustments. AR had a bad game. He got hot towards the end there. I think it was of his 16 points, 14 of them came in that. It was the fourth quarter, I think. But it's too late. You're down way too much. So, and you weren't necessarily getting a lot of stops at that time. They still were getting buckets here and there. So I think they'll make the adjustments. But like I mentioned, I kind of knew historically with Luka, they were going to lose that first game, and then I think they're going to get them out of here in 5 to 6 games. Like, they're going to win this next one. They'll probably win the first one, maybe even win both games in Minnesota. Like, is that type of time with Luka. So you know how he is in the away gym. So, and then of course the Pistons, Knicks, and the Clippers Nuggets. I had mentioned this on the Ignorant Takes podcast that they pretty much lost the game. Detroit versus the Knicks and Clippers versus the Nuggets due to turnovers. The Clippers had 20 turnovers in that first game. The Pistons had 19 turnovers. And I said the Clippers need to if they would have just had 15 to 17 turnovers instead of 20, they win that game. And kind of same thing with the Pistons. The Pistons was a little bit more of like bad offense. It wasn't even like there was a lot of turnovers there, but they went on a 21-0 run. The Knicks went on a 21-0 run, so it was just like bad offense as well as some turnovers. But my main thing was still like the turnovers. And then you come to this game today, and the Pistons had 15 turnovers. So right then and there, you went from 19 to 15. So you had 4 less turnovers, and you caused the Knicks to have 14 turnovers. And you win the game by 6, which it got a little closer at the end. I think there was just some bad shot taking. A couple times where there's shot clock violation, stuff like that. But you overall won the game, and you shot extremely poorly from 3, 22%. Knicks didn't shoot that well either, 29%, but they made 4 more threes than you. They shot 8 more. They were 10 for 35, Jesus. And Detroit was 6 for 27. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And you kind of won the game from being aggressive. You shot 34 free throws to the Knicks 19. So that right there, you being aggressive, kind of won you the game there. Rebounds as well, 14 rebound difference. Jeez Louise, 48 to 34. in favor of Detroit. So, like, you're doing the right things. On the court. Got to shoot better, though, from the three. But you won the game. You stole the game. So that's all that really matters. And you really could have stole game one as well, but you kind of fell apart there in the third or fourth quarter. So, I had mentioned I thought Detroit would win that series in 6 games. That's still on the table. 6 or 7 is probably what it's going to go to. But I think Detroit's going to come out of that. I think they have the pieces. I think they have a good coach, a really good coach. Bickerstaff is a really good coach. And I had mentioned on the Ignorant Takes podcast once again in that playoff breakdown or prediction, that Cade, for him to really show the world that he is a superstar, he has to have 27 or more. In that first game, I think he only had 22 or 24. This game, 33. Yeah, his assist, he only got 3 assists. But him going and getting it is what the team needs. And he only had 3 assists because they shot so bad. Like, they shot 22% from 3. That's the only reason he had 3 assists. Because it's not that he wasn't doing his normal thing and making plays. Because he had 12 rebounds and 33 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. Once again, the only reason he had 3 assists is because his team weren't making threes. You got Tim Hardaway with 0 points, 0 for 8 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. Malik Beasley, 1 for 8 from 3. That don't help. That don't help at all. So, what are you gonna do? That's the hardest stat in basketball to get is assists, because you're dependent on someone else to make the shot. And especially when he's getting his teammates open threes and open looks and they're just missing. Like, it is what it is. But like I said, he has to average 27 or more for them to be successful in these playoffs. And to really solidify himself as that dude, as that dude in the league. So that was nice to see him getting the 33 points. And then the final game of the night, the Clippers versus the Nuggets. This one is probably going to be the best series. I think the 2 best series are the games that were today, the Clippers and Nuggets, and the Pistons and Knicks. I think those are going to be the best games of the first round. Kawhi Leonard goes for 39. Ooh. Last game he looked a little leggy towards the end of that game. It was kind of the first time in a while he was healthy and in the playoffs. So I think that kind of caught him off guard a little bit. But today he was with it, boy. 39 from the claw. Love to see it. I fuck with Kawhi. He's tough. He's so tough. 39 points. James Harden, gives you 18 today. Obviously, he had 32 last game. But biggest thing, once again, turnovers. They had 20 last game. That's what lost them the game. I said all they needed was 15 to 17. They had 11 today, and Denver had 20. Right then and there, you won the game. Taking care of the ball. You shot 38% from 3. Denver shot 44, 48 from the field for Clippers, 47 for Denver. So, free throws, 12 free throws only, 22 for Denver. But you took care of the ball. Most importantly, you took care of the ball. That's what lost you the game last time. So you took care of the ball. So it's very, very nice to see. I had mentioned once again, Ignorant Takes podcast, that I thought the Clippers were gonna win this series. So it's on the table. They match up really well against the Nuggets, and especially if you're getting 30-point Kawhi, yeah, they might be cooked. those Nuggets might be cooked because Kawhi is crazy cold. Like, I get it, Jokic is that dude, but Zubats can kind of bother Jokic because he's a big body. Zubats is very good. He's a very good basketball player. He ain't no chump. He's not no, like, he's one of probably top 5 in the league right now, big man. Like, he's tough. He's super tough. So he's gonna bother Jokic both ends, defensively and offensively, because he knows how to get some buckets too. So he's gonna make Jokic have to work on the defensive end. So if I'm just gonna kind of go through these series real quick and give my final predictions here. On my channel, I already did it on Ignorant Takes podcast, but going on my channel, I say, like I mentioned, Clippers versus Nuggets. I think Clippers might come out of that. It's looking good for them for that. That's probably going to be a 6 to 7 game series. I think Clippers are going to come out of that one. Detroit, I think, is going to come out of the Knicks and Detroit series. Bucks, I still think are going to come out of the Indiana Bucks series, but it really depends on what kind of Damian Lillard you are getting and how, healthy and in shape he is, coming back from this blood clot medical condition. Probably same thing, 7 game series there. Thunder, Memphis, probably a sweep. Maybe 5 game series. Rockets, Warriors. I originally said I thought the Rockets would win, but after watching that first game, Warriors might get them out of there in 5 games. Yikes. 6 at the most, but yeah, that's looking tough for the Rockets. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets won, because like I said, I originally picked them to win that series, but just after watching that first game, like, yikes. We'll see, but I think Warriors are going to come out of that. Cavs, Heat, Cavs, 4. Magic, Celtics, I'm hoping 6 games, but they might get them out of there in 5. I definitely think the Magic are going to win a game for sure. I think they'll win a game at home. I think that maybe away, you never know. But I think the Magic will for sure win a game. I'm hoping it goes 6. But the Celtics are still going to come out of there victorious. These are all the games. And then Lakers versus Timberwolves. Lakers, I think, are about to just 4 game them real quick. You know what they say? He say, she say, no say. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5, baby. Maybe 6, but that's just my. I think that I named every game. Let me just think about it. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So those are my predictions there. Once again, if you want to get a little bit more detail into them, I'm gonna tag the Ignorant Take podcast. You can check out their stuff. I've been a recurring guest on that channel lately. Tomorrow, obviously, we have a 4-game slate, and then I'll probably get another Lakers and Timberwolves reaction at the end of that game with my brother from the Ignorant Takes, one of the co-hosts from the Ignorant Takes podcast. So that's all from me. I'll see y'all next time. Adios.